Hi, okay, so I'm back to make the AIP paleo pie crust for the pumpkin pie. And again, I just kind of wing it. So this is what we're gonna do. Just grab a large glass bowl, grab some coconut flour, and grab some flaxseed powder. And these are the two ingredients that I use, but you can use anything. So again, I'm gonna eyeball it. So I'm probably gonna put in about a cup and a half of coconut flour. This is gonna probably make 2 pie crusts. So you can use like a cup of coconut flour. Just show you what I put in the bowl. There you go. And I'm gonna put in some flaxseed meal, which is nice and sticky and it holds together, it binds together. And so it doesn't have the best flavor, I admit, but it also gives it that crust, the golden dark flavor. So probably gonna do about a cup or a half to a cup of flax powder. So there you go. It's just in the bowl. And now we're just gonna stir it up. If I can grab a spoon. Of course, I'm never prepared or ready for any of these because I'm just making it for myself. And so I'm not like preparing in advance or anything like that. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and stir this up. You can pulse this. I don't feel like getting out my food processor right now, but quite honestly, if I had more time, I probably would, because to pulse it in the food processor just really is fast and gives it like the exact consistency that you're looking for. So anyways, I've just gone ahead and stirred that together. It won't be sweet, so I'm gonna add in some vanilla extract again, and we're gonna do about 2 cups of that for flavor. Going to add in a bit of sea salt. This actually is Himalayan pink salt. And I'm gonna add in my sweetener. So you could add in stevia, you could add in honey, maple syrup, or coconut nectar. So today I'm gonna do the coconut nectar. So again, I'm just gonna squeeze just a little bit in. Oh, that was probably about a teaspoon. And this is about, probably about a tablespoon of each of honey and coconut nectar. So about 2 tablespoons. So I'm just gonna kind of stir that in. And again, it just kind of makes like starts to form these like dough pieces. Okay, so if you can tolerate butter, fantastic, use it. If you can only tolerate ghee, again, great, go ahead and use ghee. But if you can't tolerate either of those, then use coconut oil and beef tallow or lard. So I'm gonna go ahead and use some, and you don't, of course you don't heat this, so just add in some coconut oil. This is a tiny little, like, it's even smaller than a teaspoon. It's the one I give to my kids, but it's all I have handy. So that was probably like a large heaping tablespoon or so. And then I'm gonna use pure beef tallow here, and it'll just give it like more of an authentic kind of, you know, like if you have lard, which I don't happen to have in my house, it even gives it that like really nice flavor, but tallow will do that too. So you kind of just like chunk it up. I don't even have a knife, but you know how you just kind of like get little pieces. So put in about a tablespoon of like, kind of like pieces. You kind of just like chunk it up with a knife or chunk it up with a spoon so it separates apart. Now, we're just gonna go ahead and mix that together in there. Oh, actually I forgot to add a couple things to my dry ingredients, so I'll do that right now. I'm gonna add collagen because I love to add it to anything. Anywhere I can add it in a recipe, I will. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a scoop of collagen. It's just so healing and healthy for you. And once in a while, you can add, I like to add shredded coconut. Now I know it doesn't give it that like pure pie, like a blended. It kind of gives it like these little pieces inside the pie crust, which I actually happen to like, but you can leave it out. So I don't know if put it in or add it out for this part. Oh, maybe I'll add in a little because I happen to really like it, even though it doesn't make it like a smooth pie crust. So here we go. We have the pie crust. I like to add a little bit of shredded coconut because I just find I like the texture and I think it gives it flavor. So there we go. Now, once it's all kind of together like that, before we add the cold water, just take a tiny little pinch and see, is it sweet enough? Does it taste okay? You don't want it too sweet, but you need it just like to have a hint of sweetness. So I think I need a little bit more. Just add in some honey and kind of stir that in. That will just help it. Some people add dried fruit. Some people add dried fruit to the recipe. I mean, if you're pulsing this, you can put in some dried mulberries or dried dates and it'll just sweeten it up. But, or you can add just like the coconut nectar or the honey. Okay. I'm just gonna wash my hands, it's important, and then come back. Okay, so make sure your hands are washed. And then you're gonna go ahead and get water. So I have some filtered spring water here and I added 2 ice cubes to it just to make it cold. This is about a cup. And I'm just gonna slowly add some of it into this mixture. Probably start with about half and then get your hands in there and knead the dough. Okay. So we're just gonna kind of put it together. We're chunking it all together so that it starts to resemble some sort of a dough. You don't wanna put too much water in, just enough for it to soak up. You can see I'm starting to get handfuls here that looks like this, and that's great. Now I could add in a little bit of gelatin here as well to bind it together, but because the flaxseed is in here, I really don't need to. So I added collagen just for extra nutrition, and I could add a bit of gelatin, but I think I'm gonna leave it because it just binds together so well. Okay, so I think that actually is pretty good. I don't know that I need much more water. I might add just a little so I can put it together into a ball. I wanna form a ball and I want it to kind of absorb. So before you roll it out, you want it to kind of absorb. So a lot of times I'll leave it sit in my fridge for about 5 minutes or 10 minutes before I roll it. Just so that we can get a nice doughy ball. And you can see how it sticks together there. It's a nice round ball of dough, and you just put it all in there. You can break it into 2 pieces if you're gonna do 2 pie crusts. So let's just see how much that will make. I'll just do a nice kind of chunk it in half now, and I have 1 ball. Now normally I put this in the fridge first. It will absorb more water this way, and the colder it is, the better actually. But I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can roll it out and show you right now. Sorry about that. I find this case really hard. I have no tripod. And it's almost impossible to put everything, try to balance it on things to stand it up. But anyways. Okay. So, get my little ball. I put a piece of parchment paper down and I get a piece of parchment paper for the top. I just set it on the middle and I put the parchment paper on top. I press it down so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Then I get a rolling pin and I start to roll it. So it's just pressed between the 2 balls and you just start to roll. And you roll this way and you roll that way. So you roll a little bit this way and you roll a little bit that way. And you want it kind of thin, but not too thin. It's not like flatbread. Okay. And sometimes you're gonna have to reshape it. Like I'll show you this. Looks like it might be losing a bit of its shape. So I'm gonna hold it up now and take my parchment paper off, and you can see it's kind of in a weird shape. So then you kind of just take your fingers and put the crust where it needs to be. to make more of a circle shape, and then re-roll that section a bit. This is hard without a tripod. Sorry for this like shoddy camera work. Okay. I always admire the people who do these like professional videos, and it's awesome, but hey, this is a real place where people are trying to heal. They're sick, they don't have time for all the lights, camera, action, and all that crap, right? They're just trying to get it done. And they might want a sweet treat in the process. So this is what we're making today. So you just take your pie thing. I put it right upside down. I wish I could show you that. I kind of put it right upside down on my thing, and then I kind of flip it over and fold it in. So I'm gonna just take this off, flip it over, and then I just kind of like press it into my pie plate with this right on it, and then I just take it off, and I fill in the rest of my pieces so you can see like that. Can you even see what I've done there? You can see there's like places that it needs pieces, so just take the pieces, the rest of them, and stick it in there. And then I use my hands and I just press what needs to be pressed. I move around what needs to be moved around. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just you want this amazing, homemade, healthy, nutrient-dense pie that's not gonna have a lot of ingredients that could flare your symptoms. You know, eggs sometimes exacerbate people's symptoms, so while there's so many amazing paleo recipes out there, a lot of them include eggs, and it can be hard for those of us. Okay, let me find some napkins here, if I can. Napkins, searching for napkins. Okay, so now I just take my pie crust, which is in the pie. Doesn't that look great? Right? It's just mostly coconut flour, flaxseed. We've taken our fresh pumpkin that we've baked, and it's so much better fresh, you guys. I know it's a pain in the ass, but it's just pretty easy when you have an Instant Pot. So we're just gonna go ahead and we're going to pour it in. Without two hands to do this, it's very tricky for me. And without spoons, it's also very tricky to do. All my spoons are in the dishwasher, so I only have, I have a big spoon. Great, so I'm gonna go ahead and use a big like serving spoon. Okay, so you just kind of like spread it out, and I'm gonna add a little bit more to the top of that. So I'm just gonna set this down so I can use my hand to scrape the rest out. Now you'll remember that I have one more pie crust. I can just save that dough in a freezer bag, put it in the freezer, and then the next time I make this, or any kind of a pie, it's handy, and I don't have to go through this whole process again. I just have to thaw it out and roll it. So again, I'm just gonna add this to the top of my pie. It looks so good. It's homemade. It's all from scratch. Again, it's so nutrient dense. It's organic. It's delicious. And you're gonna feel like you can participate. One of the main things about when you're being on all these diets and everybody else is indulging and you're not, you're like this person who's sitting in the background and just can't have anything. And psychologically it's difficult, right? Because who wants to be the person who can't have anything? So there we go. We have the wonderful pie. We're gonna put it in the oven and bake it at like 350 degrees for a half an hour. You can just test it to make sure. Then you put it out on the counter or in the fridge and let it, get its little let the gelatin harden and work. And then that's it. You got yourself an amazing pumpkin pie. So I hope this helped. I know it's super long and not professional and probably annoying to watch, but we will have a nice dessert at the end of this. And that's the main thing. It's fresh and it's AIP compliant, and it's good for you. So, you know, take it off your shoulders. These ingredients are healthy. They're going to nourish you, and it's okay to add a little sweetener. As long as it's organic and it's pure and it's not too much, this is going to be great for you. And again, if you want to make it keto, just sub swerve, or you can also sub xylitol. God, it's so good. Or you can sub stevia or whatever you want. Okay, so I hope this helped. And again, get the fresh pumpkin. It's really worth it.